ago when I was watching this film by, which is about Vic Muniz. He's a famous Brazilian artist, and it's called Wasteland, and it's about the story of how he transformed this community through art. And so one of the things that happened in the movie is he took one of the participants to a museum, and they were looking at the artwork, and he was explaining it and talking to the person about it, and he asked him, so do you like it? What do you think? And he said, well, when I first saw these things, I thought they were really dumb. But once you explained it to me, and I learned about the ideas and the concepts, I really began to like it. And so Vic said, I think what it is that we don't like what we don't understand. And this really hit me. This is really the essence of the situation with community building and newcomers and host communities. We don't understand. And so I drew on the work of George Lakoff, and his work in cognitive linguistics informs us that we can talk to people until we're blue in the face about facts, but people aren't going to hear us. It's not going to sink in because we're not appealing to their moral values and on the emotional level. We have to get deeper. And that's when it occurred to me that dance is really one of those vehicles that can really do this for us, can really embody the experience.
Aesthetics of human understanding is something that is particularly relevant and particularly vivid and directly experienced through the arts. So when you think about the dance project, you've got people that are bodily and thinking about their emotions, their physical movement, the expression that they're giving, and their attention to each other, so that there's this individual and collective movement of thinking that takes life.
We're going to take these dances to schools across Nebraska. And the idea is not only for the students to understand more about human migration through the dances, but also for them to experience it. So we're going to give workshops where the students are feeling with their bodies what it means to go through this experience, and we're hoping that this will result in community building.
One of the things that I have studied in my career is also the way that art can show something that is more concrete in a less concrete way. I think that's what art tends to do, and when things are not representational, I think that they can strike us in ways, kind of like you were talking about that gentleman in the art museum. He saw something, he didn't understand it, yet he investigated it, and it changed the way that he thought.
It's important to help people understand, especially coming from an immigrant background. Like, I'm a first generation. Both of my parents are from South Korea, and I fall into those stereotypes still, And I think it's really important for people to understand how difficult it is to be the norm when you don't look or act a certain way. It puts a lot of pressure on whatever age group, and I think it's really important for everyone to understand that.
Coming to this country and knowing over a number of years, reflecting back on all those experiences, that people from other countries also have similar experiences. It's always, the language, if you don't know the language, you're going to have issues. You're going to have misinterpretations or misperceptions. And so that's one of the reasons that I just think this is really great, because it will send a really positive message. And just watching these how the dances unfold, and having Max, my son, be a part of this, first of all, it's an honor, and for him to be a part of it, because I see how it affects him and how it really is building a great self-esteem for him.
that movement within the movement of ideas. And I think educators in particular need to be very aware of that, because if education's about anything, it's about moving minds.
Locally, I hope that it does, make Nebraska, that community building occurs in Nebraska, and that we become one of the states where we have this peaceful recognition and respect for newcomers and for the changing dynamics of immigration, and greater understanding that the children then bring these experiences back to their parents, and share that, and that the children that experience this, that when they grow up, that they have a completely different, a better sense of what happens, and a greater respect and understanding for the experience of human migration.